Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see about the strategies, HR strategies for improving organizational effectiveness. So to improve the organizational effectiveness, that is a firm performance, you need to have certain strategies even in the HR. So HR strategies will help the employees to contribute more and then bring out their performance, that is effective performance, towards the goal of the organization. The effective organization is the one that achieves in the purpose by meeting the needs of its stakeholders. So the matching its resources to opportunities, adopting the flexibilities to environmental changes, and creating cultural, or that can also be promote the commitment, creativity, and values which will be shared, the mutual trust with the organization, that brings the improvement of organizational effectiveness and overall objectives of the strategies in HR, which will be addressed in few points. The major areas of developing an organizational effectiveness will be on clearly defined goals and strategies to be accomplished, the value systems that emphasize the performance and productivity, quality, and the customer services, teamwork, and the flexibility. Here are the few methods or activities which you call of the organizational development or developing organizational effectiveness with three different methods or activities. One is action research, another is survey feedback, and third one is interventions. So when I say these three major things, this brings out the strong visionary leadership from the top. A powerful management team will be well motivated, committed, skilled, and flexible framework. So when you have a good workforce, effective team work throughout the organization, there will be a win-win or win-lose conflict while under control. The continuous pressure to innovate, grow towards a particular goal of the organization, the ability to respond fast to the opportunities and threats. There is the high capacity to manage, indeed strive the changes in the organizational structure or changes in the organizational strategies will have some kind of influences among the organization. So when I say the action research is going to be a plan, act, observe, and reflect. As said by Levin in 1947, which takes the form of a systematic collection of data from people about the process where there is issues of feeding the data back in the form, or to identify problem, their likely causes, and there are some kind of action plan which has to be deal with the problems that can be implemented, which will have some kind of cooperative with the people involved. The essential elements of the action research will be on data collection, diagnosis, feedback, because the action plan will be with the plan. When you have a plan, you react, you act, then observe what it is happening, take the feedback, you diagnose and then take the feedback. Once you took the feedback, and then you plan the action again with the reflection of the evaluation which you have made in the action, and then go ahead for the next plan. Next is the survey feedback. So when you are doing a survey feedback, you will always have the point of variety of action research which the data is significantly or systematically collected about the system, because the feedback is totally going to be about the organization. When you are taking that in your mind, then you need to take a feedback and then analyze and interpret how exactly the employees are uh, satisfied. Is that the employees are not happy with the work, or they are getting influenced by other people, or what preparation they are doing towards the daily work, whether they are happy or satisfied or not happy and satisfied. All these kind of feedback result has to be made to implement the use of attitude towards the particular work. When the employees are working for an organization, the organization should also look into the satisfaction level of an employee. Based on their requirement, they have to provide and take an action appropriately. And then the next third one is intervention. Intervention is when you have an idea, plan, and action. You need to stop the work which you're doing, the activity which you're doing, and then start looking for the new structure, and then change the behavior, and then upgrade yourself as per the requirement, then make it successful. Because the intervention is like organizational development, which in the organizational development, which refers to the core structured activity which involves in the client and the consultant. This activity, this particular intervention, is more important for an action research. When you do action research, you take up the feedback and then intervene whatever is happening, and stop it, and then take a necessary action, and then do your work appropriately, because you are going to generate the new client and to generate the valid information which is necessary, and you will be able to solve the problem when you create an opportunity for a client to search an effective solution for their problems, to make a free choice. So when you have your employees in the trouble, or in the process of lower reducing their satisfaction level towards the organization, you need to just pass and deviate from their work, what they are doing, and then do a necessary action. Only then you can find the best outcome of the employees. There are few more interventions which you can do. Interventions is actually a good positive sign, and it is also an opportunity for an employees as well as the employers to take an action, and it's an internal commitment to their choice and opportunity for the continuous monitoring of action which is taken over the employees and the employers. So this intervention is the first. You have to process consultation as said by Sashin in 1969. This actually involves the client to generate and analyze the information that they are, and they can understand and follow the throughout diagnosis and act upon the information will relate to the organizational process, such as some kind of activity, some kind of interpersonal relation, communication, then intergroup relations, and this actually brings out the job of the process even more better, and to help the organization solve their own problem by making it aware of the organizational process and the consequences of the process or the mechanisms which they have changed, which they want to bring in as a change in the organization. And then next is the team building. Team building intervention is something which is always necessary and which is always followed in many of the organization. Most of the organization wanted to building the good team because they think the team building process will share the experience of another person and problems solve many of the problems within the team. This deals with the permanent work team, and thus those setup, those process, those activity will bring out some kind of problem solving ability within the employee, that this particular intervention is the most important thing to bring out the effectiveness of a team. As a team, you can come up with some kind of action which is required to improve efficiencies, to bring out the best out of an employee. You need to have a team building intervention. And then is the interchange conflict intervention. When I say interchange or the intergroup, okay, intergroup conflict intervention, this is actually aiming to improve the intergroup relationship or intergroup relation by getting group to share their perception of one another and analyze what they have learned from themselves and from other group members. And group involves to meet each other and share what they have and learned, and to agree on the issues to be solved and action required. These are the three different process consultation under the intervention, that is team building, intergroup conflicts, and the personal intervention. So this may need the sensitivity, that is a personal intervention. In a sense, you are trying to bring in the training for an individual development. When you bring in the training for an individual development, you are actually bringing the employee on the table and then telling them, this is the training you have to take, and this is what is expected for tomorrow. So when it is done, the state of people will also engage in the process of successful behavior, and perceive a link between the behavior and certain outcome, because most of us want to be positive and bring out our positivity to others, and believe and we also believe that we can do it. This will also help the self efficiencies, and this self efficiency may change the behavior, and this will be able to identify the problems and develop the skills which is necessary by the employee, by coming up with some kind of role play, or practicing the use of skills on the job, or discussing how well they have applied, and all these things. This is going to be really helpful for the employees as well as the development of the organization goal. So these are the three different intervention under the organizational development method or activities which you call. There is three different process consultation which is mandatory, which is really necessary. There are so many research came up in the year of 1990s to implement these kind of strategies in the organizations. That's how we are utilizing in today's organization team, that is HR team. This is needed for any of the organization to manage the change of process and system and the culture, but still recognize as long as it is result driven, because outcome is the one which we always expect for. What is the result? Is there any improvement? Is there any appraisal? Is there any recognition? All this will be applicable if you are doing this particular process. And next is about the strategies for organizational transformation. The transformation is nothing but the change in the shape or structure or the nature of something. If there is any change happens in terms of organization, when you come up with new strategies for the development of the organization, by ensuring that the organization responds strategically to new demand, or continues to the function or effectiveness or the dynamic environment, because nowadays everyone is working from home, most of them are working from home. There is high chances of bringing in the new concept of tracking employees online. Only then it is possible to evaluate whether the employees are working for the organization or not. So, coming up with new changes in the structure, culture, or the process of the organization is nothing but organizational transformation. When you bring in any kind of changes in terms of technology, mergers, or investment, or a product line or the market, any transformational changes in the organization with for the support of HR. That is, if you're bringing in any strategic approach for the HR policies or the HR activity, then it is nothing but the organizational transformation for HR. So there are four different strategies of organizational transformation for the change. One is to change what the organization has. For example, being the productive driven, you have to concentrate on what today's customers are looking for, and the fundamental changes in the relationship between the organization part. You make it decentralized. It means reduce the hierarchy level, and then the major changes in which can be involved in terms of doing work, recognize the work, not the person, and make some kind of basic changes in the cultural norms or the values or the research system, which can make the employees work towards the organization. So if I talk about the points here, which is the transformation programs, which is suggested by Cotter in 1995, there are 8 different steps here you can see, which requires to transform an organization, which is suggested by the Cotter theory in 1995. First is establishing a sense of urgency. That is, examining the market and the competitive realities. You need to identify and discuss the crisis, and you need to come up with some kind of major opportunities which can overcome those kind of problems. And the second one is forming a powerful guiding coalition that can bring in many assemblies and many power to enough power to lead the change effort. So it can also bring in some kind of encouragement among the employees, the group of work towards, or to if they can work together as a team. Because guiding coalition is nothing but bringing people together. That when you are in a group, the power is high, right? So that's the reason you need to concentrate on the group power, because the when the work is done together as a team, the effectiveness will be more towards the transformation of an HR strategies. And third one is creating a vision. You have to be creating a vision to help direct the changing effect or developing strategies for achieving the vision. And the next one, fourth one, is the communicating the vision. You need to communicate to each and every employee in the organization that this is the major vision of the organization. So using every visual or every vehicles possible to communicate the new vision and the strategies, because the teaching new behavior by coming up with some good examples in the market, in the industry. And the next, fifth one, is empowering other to act on the vision, because you are having some kind of problems. That's the reason you want to get rid of those kind of obstacles to change. That changing system or the structure that is actually seriously undermine the vision. So encouraging risk and taking some kind of non-traditional ideas and activities, and implementing that and making it in the action, that brings out more effectiveness in the organization. And the next point is all about the sixth point is the planning for and creating short-term wins. You need to have a short-term vision also, because the planning for the visible performance improvement is more important. Only then you will be able to have a long-term goal in the organization. Creating those improvement will recognize and reward employees involvement in the organization. So this is the reason you need to plan for, and then plan for those short term goals, and then look for the big goals or the larger goals or long term goals in the for the organization. And the seventh one is all about consolidating improvement and producing still more change, because using those small changes, like for example is hiring, promoting, or developing employees, or rewarding them, these might bring in changes in the organization. And the last, nothing but um institutionalizing new approaches, that is in calculating the what to say, the connection between new behavior and the corporate success. So having that goal, developing the means to ensure the leadership development and the succession of the employees is more worth than having the behavior and the performance of an individual team. Individually in a team will be working towards an organization. So these are the different strategies for the organizational transformation. Only bringing in new concept or the new changes in the organization will not work. You need to do the proper establishment. You need to bring in power among the employees, create vision, communicate with everyone, and empowering them that there is a vision and this is vision, and bringing them together with a short term goal, and then improving their productivity, and then generate the new behavior and the corporate culture in the organization. So that's all for this today's session. um, Hope you understood the topic. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next video. Thank you. Thanks for watching this video.